friends, Heidi here from Rain Country. God is good all the time. And I'm here today to talk about a rather unusual topic, and that is about mucus. And it's one of those things that we always see as a bad thing, like our blood pressure going up when we need it to, or swelling when we sprain an ankle or a wrist or a finger, or even having a fever when we're ill. All of these things serve a purpose within the body. Whenever the body starts doing something, and it's a pretty common thing across the board, like when you get colds and flus and you start getting excess mucus, you get a runny nose, a stuffed up nose, you get a lot of excess mucus in the lungs, there's a purpose for it. It doesn't mean it's bad. While it can be irritating to deal with and make it hard to sleep, it does have a purpose. And actually every day, even when we're not ill and we don't have any kind of inflammation or irritation or allergies bothering us, our bodies produce about a quart or a liter of mucus every single day. That's what it does. And then when we have illnesses or other things going on in the body, we're going to produce more for a very good reason. So with this mentality that I've learned to have about various things, like why does our blood pressure go up? Why does my ankle swell when I twist it? And so on and so forth, I decided it was time to finally research what the purpose of mucus in the body is. And some of you know I've been dealing with some mucus at the back, more at the back of my sinuses, at the back of my throat, rather than down here where I normally get buildup. Now I knew why I was getting it here. And I knew it's because of the nodules I have on my vocal cords. And every time I'm shooting like several videos in a day, doing any kind of presentation, anytime where I'm having to talk a lot, sing, or anything, they do get inflamed. And then immediately what happens is they will build up mucus in that area. And that told me right there, I've known that for years, that there was a purpose for that and that it was a protective layer over that irritated area. What's been going on in the back of my throat, right behind the epiglottis, I was calling it post-nasal drip because it was the only thing I could come across, but I've come to figure out that it has to be related to some kind of irritation that's back there, and I do believe it has to do with something in the air. Well, as a result, when I brought that up last time, a lot of people were coming in with the common thought that dairy causes mucus in the body, which actually is not true. In fact, when I was in school and I was involved in very many different choirs and singing ensembles, because that was my big thing. I loved to sing. I did solo work, I wrote my own music, I did all kinds of stuff like that. Our choir directors would always tell us on the day of a performance, the musicals or whatever it was, don't drink milk or eat sugar before a performance because it coats your throat and it causes you to have to clear your throat more. So there's two reasons why people are misled about the milk causing mucus thing. And one is that it can feel like, because of the thickness of dairy products, it can feel like you've got excess mucus. It can also cause your mucus to thicken, and so it might feel like it's creating more mucus when it's really not. And then the other one is that if you are allergic to milk, yes, it's going to cause, because of the inflammation throughout the body that the allergy is causing because you're allergic to dairy products, it is going to cause more mucus. So anytime you're allergic to anything, just think about if you've got, the standard like hay fever, which is something I normally have to deal with in the fall and in the spring. That's when I'm most likely to have issues with a runny nose or sneezing. It hasn't been near as bad in the past several years, especially since I stopped taking over-the-counter allergy medicines. Go figure. Whatever. It's generally been better, but this past year, for some reason out of the blue, last spring of 2021, I started having this issue with this constant buildup back here. And since running the air cleaners in my home on a pretty regular basis, I noticed this helped quite a bit. That, and then taking the fermented orange peel drink or citrus peel drink has also helped. But I got to figure, I still have to get to the root of the problem, why exactly it's causing the irritation, which is then causing the mucus to build up back in there. So really that's what it is. If you're having excess mucus that's irritating you, causing you to be stuffed up, whether it be it's running down this way or running down the back of your throat or coming up out of your lungs, if it's excess, that means that you're either dealing with some kind of allergy, that's something in the air, or you've got some kind of inflammation, and the mucus is serving its purpose. So the mucus that we get in our lungs is called phlegm. That's where that comes from, and it's common anytime you're breathing in any kind of contaminants, whether it be dust, smoke, pollens, it doesn't matter, whatever it is, whatever's in the air, then you're going to get mucus buildup in your lungs for the purpose of collecting all that junk and expelling it. So it's for protecting your body. And the same thing for your sinuses and all throughout our body. But mucus also serves a couple other purposes you might not be aware of. It's also a great lubricant. That's one of the things that keeps our eyes from drying out. And it can be thicker or thinner depending on the part of the body it's in and the purpose that it's serving. So mucins are what is found in mucus, and there's different ones, and the different mucins will also give it a little bit different color, different thickness, and so on. And here was the thing I thought was super cool about mucus. I mean, that sounds crazy, but yes, this is very cool, is that mucus is also excellent at killing bacteria, not just expelling and getting it out of the body, but also killing it. So it has several purposes within the body, so we should not be afraid of it, nor should we be afraid of the things that they're constantly telling us cause mucus. If drinking milk, eating wheat products is causing excess mucus in the body, then that is a sign of some kind of allergic reaction or a sensitivity at least. So a lot of people have gluten intolerance because of the modernized gluten that's in a lot of our wheat. They can't tolerate it, or because of damage done to the digestive tract due to other toxins, whether they be toxins that have been eaten, taken, breathed in, or injected, especially at a young age. This is what is often causing that. It's not just what has been done to the wheat through different hybridizations, through the spraying of chemicals, but it's also what's been done to our own bodies that can cause us to be sensitive to dairy and to wheat products. So for some people, they can actually turn this sensitivity around as long as they're eating the more healthy, natural forms of the dairy products or the wheat products. So mucus is antimicrobial and it's also antifungal. So just think about all this stuff and put all this together. And when you start thinking of your own issues that you have, instead of trying to figure out how to get rid of the mucus, try to figure out what is causing that. What is causing you to have excess mucus? Because obviously, if we're all producing at least 4 cups of mucus every day, even when we're at our healthiest, then what we have to be looking at is, why is our body creating excess? It's doing it for a reason, just like we have a fever for a reason, just like we have swelling for a reason, and just like our blood pressure goes up for a reason, and we need it to do that, just like we need that mucus. So find the source if it is a constant problem, which is what I'm still working on. Again, I do believe it has something to do with what's in the air, especially since several other people have come out and said, yeah, in this past year, especially back in the spring, I started having this issue. It was a new thing. I've never had to deal with it before. So I find that really interesting that several people, since coming out with the video where I mentioned that, have made that same remark. And at least 2 of them are in my own state, and I know of other locals that have started dealing with it, of all different ages, from young to older. So again, coming back to the dairy thing, I do appreciate people throwing that out there, but I'm not addicted to dairy. I joke that I am, but I love dairy. And I've been vegan, I've been vegetarian. I was a vegetarian in my early 20s. I was a vegan in my early 40s. And I've done a couple of different stints of veganism. And every time I do, I never feel great. I start off feeling okay, but then by the end of a certain period of time, I don't feel so great. And every time I go back to animal products, be it dairy or meat, I immediately start to feel better, or eggs for that matter. So I know it's not the dairy. I know that's not what's causing that. And as I started to research, all I could find, no matter what site I went to, except for a couple of questionable sites, it didn't matter what site I went to, constantly over and over again, it was stated that this whole dairy mucus connection was more of a myth than anything. So it's not the dairy that causes you to get excess mucus unless you have a sensitivity or allergy to it in the first place. Just understand that. I've done the research, and if I had to cut out dairy for a period of time just to try it and see if that was the issue, I could do it. I've done it several times. I could do it again if I really had to. I've just never found it to be helpful. And since this is a very new thing and I'm seeing it happen all over, and I'm pretty dang positive it is in relation to something that's in the air, then I'm sure I don't have a dairy sensitivity. And I certainly didn't suddenly develop one in 2021. It's pretty obvious it's coming from a different source. Mucus is our friend. We shouldn't be afraid of it, but if we're making too much of it and it's making us uncomfortable, find the source of what is causing it. And it might be having to go to the doctor. Don't look at something that's going to reduce your mucus so much as finding why your body is needing to make more of it. At least some ideas, some things to look into, and just to maybe delve in deeper to learn more about how to take your health into your own hands. And I have all kinds of videos about that too, so I'll be linking to my natural remedies playlist. I have one on how to make your own natural remedies, and then I have a playlist that's about lists of natural remedies for various things. They're different, and then so I'll link to both of those, plus my playlist on the benefits of herbs and other things. And so you can scroll through those different playlists and see if you can find something that interests you, and hopefully will help you as well. Oh, including the one that we did over 3.5 years ago about how we took ourselves off thyroid medications that we'd been on for 15 years apiece. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.